Now, one of the biggest drawcards of the Geneva show has always been the concept cars. These are a chance for the world's best designers and manufacturers to come together and come up with ideas that push the boundaries of their brands and automotive technology as we know it. Behind me is the DS E-Tense, a fully electric grand touring supercar. It's a pretty wild looking thing. There's a lot of tie-throughs to some of the DS product that's in market now, but it's just a statement of what the brand could possibly do in future. It's only one of many hybrid and alternate powertrain vehicles that are on display here at Geneva. Let's go take a look. And just as a quick one, they're not all quite this fancy. There's a very interesting one over on the Citroen stand. Now, while most of the concept cars here at Geneva are Autobahn-chewing hyper concepts, Citroen's come up with this, the E-Mehari, which is a 4-seat EV beach-going fun machine. If you remember back to the 60s and 70s, the original Citroen Mehari was basically like a mini moke. It was kind of a steel bathtub with a small engine and zero passenger protection whatsoever. This is a modern take on it, and it kind of reminds me of the old Suzuki Sierra, Suzuki Vitara, and even my old Lada Niva convertible. Looks like a hell of a lot of fun. Now, while we may think of France, Italy, Germany when it comes to concept car locations, this is the Rimac Concept One that comes from Croatia. It's a dual motor, all electric drivetrain, a theoretical top speed of 355 kilometers an hour with an 1100 horsepower, 1600 Newton meter drivetrain. Now, to give you an idea of what it looks like to us, it reminds us of the old TVR Speed 12 crossed with a Koenigsegg, because you've got that split body colouring there. And for context, this thing is absolutely dumped on the ground. Standing next to it, it comes up to my hips. It is really, really low, really cool. Croatian supercar, very interesting. Trent and I were just talking about some problems that we face on a day-to-day basis, which is coming back to your car with your drone. Where do you put it? Back seat, boot. How's the, what's the protocol?
Well, Rinspeed have come up with the answer to a question that nobody's asked, giving us a drone platform on the back of the car.
Well, what it does, I think, is it helps you with the top-down parking cameras. Forget the extrapolated images from your mirror. You got a drone.
You got a drone, absolutely. They are a little bit crazy, a little bit off the hook, and this is the latest effort from them.
Well, if you remember, Rinspeed had the submersible Lotus, like James Bond, and a couple of other crazy things. There's obviously something in the water in Switzerland because we think this thing's a little bit bonkers. Italdesign are one of the biggest names in the business, and this thing, the GT0, is their latest attempt at wowing audiences with something, well, a little bit out of this world. It's basically what would happen if you made a Lamborghini Huracan into a shooting brake station wagon. You've got part Volvo P1800 ES on the rear window, which has a really cool feature of the brake light running the whole way around. It's a full electric design with twin motors, scissor doors, and even a really cool wooden load deck in the back. It's a really stunning piece of design, and something that obviously probably won't make the road, but the world would be all the better if it did. When we talk about new materials for concept cars, we usually refer to things like carbon fibre and carbon Kevlar, but this, the EDAG concept, is actually using a woven material as an outer skin. Now, obviously that means it's very light, it's very pliable, it can be put into any shape quite easily, and as you can see, it's being lit from underneath to give the car a very unique light signature. Now, it's not just the outer skin of the EDAG concept that's clever. Underneath, the space frame is entirely 3D printed. It allows for a very, very flexible, very, very strong, customizable, easy to manufacture body that can be, well, I guess put together very quickly without a full machine shop. The frame you can see here has been done with a metal powder 3D printing process and is obviously very strong, very light, and very configurable. Something different as we look around the concept cars of Geneva. Do you know what I like about doing on the turntables is the bit of the moonwalk. You're sort of not quite sure which way to go as we go. But look, we're on the Quant stand. This is the Quant FE. It's a bit of a strange thing. You've got a full-length gull wing door on this.
Look at the size of it.
It's a pretty massive thing, but this is
enormous.
using what they call the nano flow cell technology, which makes it 100% eco-friendly from generation through to electricity use. And unlike some of the concept cars that we've seen, which that all sounds great on a marketing brochure, the one in there's got number plates on it.
There's one in there with rego plates, so it obviously works.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty funky looking thing, and I think we called out just before, if you have a look at those indicators, they've made it look a little bit cooler than what even Audi has done.
And it's fair to say this is the next gen of next gen technology.
The next gen of next gen.
Yeah.
It is a bit crazy. You look inside, there's a lot of lines, a lot of things. We're spinning around. I think our moonwalking really hasn't kind of worked anymore.
We can't get around the edge of it, it's
squashed
too
anymore.
big.
Well, what better way to finish a walk around at the Geneva show looking at concepts than to come here to one of the biggest names, Pininfarina,
Unbelievable.
for the H2 Speed concept that they've got here.
Yep. These guys are absolutely synonymous with beautiful sports cars going back decades. And to be fair, this is probably the last thing you'd expect from them.
Well, that's right.
But have a look at it. The lines are amazing, the styling's incredible, and it happens to be powered by hydrogen.
Well, that's right. We've looked at a lot of alternative energy concepts here today. The majority of them have been electric, but this one is a hydrogen-powered GT race car, and it's pretty fabulous looking thing.
This shows us where the future might be headed, despite the fact that we need to have clean energy.
That's right. Well, concept cars obviously always a massive part of a show like Geneva. I really can't wait to see what they do next year.
This thing's probably one of the best, and for more information on all the concept cars we've looked at during the Geneva Motor Show, go to caradvice.com.au.